World Cup history. The FIFA World Cup is the most important football competition held under the auspices of the FIFA. The FIFA World Cup has been held every 4 years since 1930, except for the 1942 and 1946 tournaments, which were cancelled due to World War II. 32 national teams have participated in the tournament's current system since 1998, divided into 8 groups, competing to win the tournament title for a full month on the host country's stadiums. These teams qualify for the tournament through a 3-year qualifying system. The previous 20 editions of the World Cup have seen 8 different teams win the title. The Brazilian national team also records its presence in all tournaments, as it has never missed any World Cup tournament so far, and is the most crowned cup, as it won it 5 times, 1958, 1962, 1970, 1994, and 2002. It is followed by the Italian national team, which won it 4 times in the years 1934, 1938, 1982, and 2006, with the German team, who also won it 4 times, 1954, 1974, 1990, and 2014. Argentina, Uruguay, and France won the title twice, while England and Spain won the tournament once. Only 2 teams managed to win the championship twice in a row, as the Italian team was the first team to win the championship twice in a row in the 1934 and 1938 editions. Then Brazil was the champion in 1958, 1962. The World Cup is one of the most watched sporting events in the world. In the 2006 FIFA World Cup final, which was held in Germany, an estimated 715 million people watched the final match. The current title holder is France, which won the last edition in 2018, which was held in Russia. The tournament will be held in a few days in Qatar in 2022. Previous international competitions. The first international football match was held in 1872 between Scotland and England and ended in a goalless draw. The first international tournament was the British Championship, which took place in 1884. At this point, the sport was rarely played outside Great Britain and Ireland. When football began to increase in popularity around the world at the turn of the century, it was considered a show sport, without awarding medals, as in the Olympics in 1900 and 1904. Football became an official competition in the Olympic Games starting from the Summer Olympics in 1908. The competition was arranged by FIFA, it is open to amateur players only, and football has been considered an exhibition game rather than a competitive sport. Great Britain, England's amateur football team, won the event in 1908 and 1912. Create a tournament. Jules Rimet, the 3rd president of FIFA and the owner of the revival and implementation of the idea of the World Cup. The idea of holding the FIFA World Cup dates back to the first meeting of the International Football Association in 1904 in Paris, with the presence of 7 countries, Switzerland, Belgium, Denmark, France, the Netherlands, Spain, and Sweden. Where the International Federation adopted the idea of establishing a World Football Championship, after the decision took a long time to agree on. Due to several difficulties, the most prominent of these difficulties was the International Olympic Committee's rejection of the idea of the tournament for fear of its impact on the ancient Olympic Games, as well as for fear of the International Federation controlling the most popular game in the world. The idea rose again in 1921 at the hands of the French lawyer Jules Rimet, who he later became president of the International Football Association, which worked hard to launch the first World Soccer Championship, and 7 years after his appointment to the presidency, the International Football Association agreed in a historic meeting held on May 25, 1928 to endorse the World Cup, and named it the Victory Cup. Uruguay submitted a request to organize the tournament, and it was approved, given that it was the leader of the teams at that time and the champion of the last 2 Olympics, and provided facilities for the participating teams, and guaranteed the International Federation to pay the expenses of the teams and their difficult transportation at that time. 2 years before the start of the first World Cup, the instructions stipulated that there should be a precious prize to be presented to the winning team of the World Championship, which prompted them to create the Victory Cup, the Jules Rimet Cup. The tournament was launched for the first time in 1930 and continues every 4 years until today. In 1930, the first international football tournament was held under the name World Cup, the 1930 FIFA World Cup, which was hosted by Uruguay from 13 to 30 July. It is the only first tournament out of all of its tournaments that did not have a qualifying tournament. All teams affiliated with FIFA were invited to participate in the tournament. As a whole, 13 countries participated in the first tournament, 7 of them from South America, 4 from Europe, and 2 from North America. The lack of participating teams is due to the choice of Uruguay as the venue for the tournament, as the duration of the trip and the costs of travel across the Atlantic make participation difficult for European teams. Indeed, no European country sent a team until the 2 months before the start of the competition. In the end, Jules Rimet persuaded the teams of Belgium, France, Romania, and Yugoslavia to make the trip. French Lucien Laurent scored the first goal in the history of the World Cup. Italy, the Netherlands, Spain, Sweden, and Uruguay have decided to bid to host the tournament. In the end, Uruguay's request was approved by the International Football Association, FIFA, after a conference on it was held in Barcelona on May 18, 1929, as Uruguay would celebrate the centenary of its independence, as well as the retention of its country's football team gold in the Summer Olympics in 1928, especially after the Uruguayan government agreed to bear all the expenses of hosting the delegations. The first 2 matches of the World Cup took place directly, in which the France national football team and the United States football team won, who beat Mexico 4-1, and Belgium 3-0, respectively. The first goal in the history of the World Cup was scored by French Lucien Laurent. In the final match, the Uruguay national football team beat Argentina 4-2 in front of a huge crowd of 93,000 fans, in Montevideo, and Uruguay became the first country to win the cup. The Argentine Francisco Varrio is the last person to die in the 1930 World Cup final, when he died on August 30, 2010. Mexico hosted the 1970 FIFA World Cup in its 9th edition of the FIFA World Cup from May 31 to June 30, and Mexico won the honor of hosting the tournament after defeating Argentina in the vote held in the Japanese capital, Tokyo. This becomes the first tournament to be held outside Europe and South America, and the first to be held in North America. Mexico qualified as the host country and England as champions for the previous edition, while 75 countries competed for 14 qualifying cards. FIFA responded to the demands of the continents of Asia and Africa after they withdrew from the competition in the 1966 FIFA World Cup, and gave all the 2 continents a full card, while Europe had 8 cards, South America 3 cards, and a card for the North American continent. The tournament witnessed the participation of the Moroccan national team, and it became the second Arab team to participate in the World Cup after Egypt, which participated in the 1934 FIFA World Cup. The tournament witnessed the failure of many great players to qualify, such as Argentina, France, Spain, and Portugal. The lineup for the final match between Brazil and Italy. Also, as the tournament witnessed changes in the qualification cards that resulted in the participation of 16 teams from all continents, the change was prolonged to include some rules and laws. For the first time in the history of the tournament, 2 substitutions were allowed for each team. The referees were also given the right to raise the yellow and red cards. Having previously been verbal, the red card was not used in that tournament. With advances in satellite communications, the 1970 World Cup attracted a new record-breaking audience for the tournament. It was the first time that the public watched the matches live, and via color screens via color TV broadcasts. The soccer ball used in the 1970 FIFA World Cup competition is known as Telstar. The two tournaments witnessed two matches that were ranked among the top 10 matches in the history of the FIFA World Cup, the first of which was the 1970 FIFA World Cup final, while the second was in the semi-final between the Italian team and its German counterpart, which later became known as the match of the century. In the semi-finals, the Italian national team met Germany in a match classified by the International Football Association as the best historically between the Italian team and its German counterpart. After the regular time ended with a 1-1 draw, Roberto Boninsigna and the goal scorer in the 90th minute were Karl-Heinz Schnellinger. For the two teams to play overtime, during which they witnessed 5 consecutive goals, German Gerd Müller started, then Italy responded with 2 goals from Tarcisio Bergnic and Luigi Riva. Then Gerd Müller put things back in order by scoring a draw and making the score 3-3. Gani Rivera concluded the 5 goals with a fatal goal, making victory for the Italian team 4-3. The 1970 FIFA World Cup final was held at the Azteca Stadium, in front of 107,412 spectators, which brought the national team Brazil and Italy national team. Both teams aspired to win the World Cup for the 3rd time in their history to own the Jules Rimet Cup forever. Brazil advanced first through Pelé, then Italy equalized through Roberto Boninsigna, and the first half ended with a 1-1 draw. In the second half, Brazil scored 3 consecutive goals through Gerson, Garzinho, and Carlos Alberto Torres, to end the match with a 4-1 victory for Brazil. With this victory, Brazil became the first country to win the cup 3 times and own the Jules Rimet Cup, after winning the 2 championships in 1958 and 1962. Brazil made history with this victory, with Mario Zagallo becoming the first person to win the World Cup as a player, in 1958 and 1962, and as a coach, in 1970. Brazil became the first team to win the World Cup and win all the matches it played, and Garzinho became the first player to score in all the matches of the tournament he played. The 1990 FIFA World Cup was the 14th tournament in the history of the FIFA World Cup, which was held in Italy from June 8 to July 8. Italy was selected to host the competition among 3 other teams: the Soviet Union, England, Greece, West Germany, Austria, and Yugoslavia. At first, 1 month after the announcement of the candidacy, all the candidates withdrew, leaving only Italy, the Soviet Union, England, and Greece. All bids were considered in late 1983, with the winner to be announced at the beginning of 1984. In early 1984, England and Greece withdrew, leaving Italy and the Soviet Union in the final race to host the tournament. The Soviet Union's decision to boycott the 1984 Summer Olympics had a clear impact on Italy winning the honor of hosting, after receiving 11 votes out of 5 votes in the final vote held in the Swiss city of Zurich on June 19, 1984. Thus, Italy became the second country to organize this global event twice at home a year after the 1938 FIFA World Cup. The tournament system remained the same as in the previous tournament in 1986, where 24 teams qualified for the finals, and the teams were divided into 6 groups. A point is awarded to each team. The United Arab Emirates, Costa Rica, and the Republic of Ireland participated in this tournament for the first time. While the United States of America was present for the first time after an absence that lasted for 40 years, the Egyptian team returned after an absence of 56 years. The UAE team did not make any progress in this tournament and lost all its matches, while the Egyptian team managed to achieve 2 draws against the Republic of Ireland and the Netherlands team, while losing the 3rd meeting against the England team. Everyone considered the 1990 FIFA World Cup one of the most boring tournaments, as the rate decreased remarkably, scoring 2.21, the lowest since the start of the FIFA World Cup. In addition to that, the frequent use of red cards, which were used 16 times, also the team's preference for defensive methods over offensive play. West Germany is one of the few teams that chose to attack its opponents in matches, as most of the teams resorted to the safe playing system and the use of penalty kicks. The tournament witnessed boring matches and a lot of wasting time, which resulted in the International Football Association changing the rules of the tournament before the final match to avoid this, by stipulating a rematch for the final in the event it ended in a draw. The International Football Association also awarded the winner 3 points for a member of 2 points, and the law of returning the ball to the goalkeeper was changed by preventing the goalkeeper from catching the ball if it was returned from his teammate, and these changes were applied starting from the 1994 FIFA World Cup. Andreas Brehme scored the winning goal in the 1990 FIFA World Cup final. The tournament witnessed a bad start, and one of the most famous surprises that took place in the 1990 FIFA World Cup, when Argentina lost to Cameroon with a free goal signed by François Omembiik. There are also 2 of the famous confrontations in that tournament. The first was in the second round, where it brought together the West Germany team led by the trio of Inter Milan, Lothar Matthews, Andreas Brehme and Jurgen Klinsmann, against the Netherlands team led by the trio of AC Milan. They are Marco van Basten and Ruud Gullit and Frank Rijkaard. The match was held at the San Siro Stadium in Milan, which forced many to compare that meeting with the Milan Derby. The second was the quarter-final match between Cameroon and England, which ended in extra time with England's 3-2 victory over Cameroon, in a meeting that was considered the most beautiful in that tournament. 1990 FIFA World Cup Final Squad. In the semi-finals, West Germany defeated England on penalties, after the regular time ended with a 1-1 draw. Then Gary Lineker famously said at the time, "Football is played by 22 players on the field, and in the end the Germans win. That is the definition of football." On the other hand, Argentina, led by Maradona in Naples, overcame the host Italy on penalties after the original time ended with a 1-1 draw. The 1990 FIFA World Cup final was held in the Italian capital, Rome, in the presence of nearly 74,000 spectators, on July 8, 1990, between West Germany and Argentina, in a repeat of the 1986 FIFA World Cup final. The match ended with a clean goal for the West German team, with a questionable penalty kick scored by Andreas Brehme in the 85th minute, to win the Machines their 3rd title and avenge their loss in the FIFA World Cup final. 1986 Argentina national football team. Argentina went into the match without the suspended trio of Claudio Caniggia, Ricardo Giusti, and Julio Alardicocha, so Argentina played a draw with the goal of getting again on penalties, while Germany played better and their strikers missed several easy opportunities. The match also saw 2 players expelled from Argentina. Franz Beckenbauer made history by winning the World Cup as a player and coach. The 2010 FIFA World Cup was the first tournament to be held on the African continent, specifically in South Africa, where it was chosen after a competition with Egypt and Morocco to become the first African country to host the finals. Choosing Africa to host the 2010 World Cup was part of the short-term policy of rotation, which was abolished in 2007. It rotates hosting the event between continents. 5 African countries were placed on the list of those wishing to host the 2010 World Cup: Egypt, Morocco, South Africa, and a joint bid was submitted by Libya and Tunisia. Following the FIFA decision not to allow a joint hosting of the competition, Tunisia decided to withdraw from the hosting process. The committee decided not to consider Libya's application, as it no longer fulfilled all the conditions stipulated in the official list of requirements. 2010 FIFA World Cup Final Squad. The winning bid was announced by FIFA President Sepp Blatter at a press conference on May 15, 2004 in Zurich. In the first round of voting, South Africa got 14 votes, while Morocco got 10 votes and Egypt did not get a vote. South Africa, which had failed to win the right to host the event in 2006, was therefore awarded the right to host this competition. During 2006 and 2007, rumors circulated in various news sources that the 2010 World Cup could be moved to another country. Franz Beckenbauer, Horst Schmidt and some FIFA executives are said to have expressed concern about the planning, organization and pace of South Africa's preparations. FIFA officials have repeatedly expressed their confidence in South Africa as the host country, noting that there is only a contingency plan in place to cover natural disasters, as it had previously had a place in the FIFA World Cup. There were some disagreements during the tournament qualifiers. In the second match of the playoff between France and the Republic of Ireland sparked controversy after French captain Thierry Henry touched the ball with his hand late in the match, which enabled France to qualify at the expense of Ireland. Ireland asked for the match to be replayed, but the request was rejected by FIFA. As a result, FIFA announced a review of the use of additional technology or referees at the highest level in South Africa. The 2010 World Cup was the first World Cup in which a team did not appear for the first time in its history, as Slovakia did not participate previously under its current name. FIFA considered it as a continuation of the Czechoslovak team that played for the last time in the 1990 World Cup. The Spanish national team won the championship. The final was played at the First National Bank Stadium, led by the English referee Howard Webb, and the final was between the Netherlands and Spain. This is the first time in history that Spain has reached the final of the World Cup, and the Netherlands has not reached the final for 32 years, specifically since it played in the 1978 FIFA World Cup final. It was a purely European final for the second time in a row after the FIFA World Cup final 2006 between Italy and France. The final had the most cards in a World Cup final, and the number of cards earned was more than double the previous record of 6 in the 1986 World Cup final between Argentina and Germany. The number of cards earned in the match is 14 yellow cards, including 9 for the Netherlands team and 5 for Spain. John Heitinga was sent off after receiving 2 yellow cards. The yellow card given to Nigel de Jong after kicking Xabi Alonso in the chest in the first half angered many, including Rob Hughes, who thought he should have been given a red card. Spain, the European champions, defeated the Netherlands 1-0 after extra time, with a goal scored by Andrés Iniesta in the 116th minute. Thus, Spain managed to achieve its first world title, and this was the first time that a European country won the competition outside the old continent. The 2018 FIFA World Cup, the 21st edition of the World Cup, was held in Russia from June 14 to July 15, 2018. Russia was able to win the honor of hosting the tournament after the FIFA decision announced on December 2, 2010, where Russia managed to overcome 3 nominations in total, as it overcame a joint nomination between Spain and Portugal, as well as a joint nomination between the Netherlands and Belgium, and a single nomination for England. It is the first edition of the World Cup that was held in Eastern Europe, as well as the first time that the European continent hosts the tournament after the 2006 World Cup, which was held in Germany. 32 national teams participated in the tournament, after the current format of the tournament was maintained. Among them, 20 teams participated in the previous edition, most notably the German team, which won the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. The tournament will witness the participation of Iceland and Panama for the first time in their history. The International Football Association decided to hold the 2018 World Cup final at the Luzhniki Stadium, which has a capacity of 81,000 spectators after renovation, located in the Russian capital, Moscow. France won the title for the second time in its history after beating Croatia 4-2 in the final match, which was held at Luzhniki Stadium and attended by 78,011 spectators. With this victory, France will be able to participate in the Confederations Cup 2021. The World Cup witnessed a new historical event, as VAR technology was used for the first time in the history of the tournament. The first refereeing case in which the referee resorted to using technology was in the France-Australia match, where the referee confirmed that there was a violation by Australian player Josh Risdon against French striker Antoine Griezmann. While the first goal to be cancelled using the mouse technique was in the Iran-Spain match, where Iranian Saeed Ezzatollah scored a goal in the 60th minute, but after returning to the video technology, the goal was cancelled due to the offside that was on the Iranian player Ramin Rezaeian. The match between South Korea and Germany witnessed the first case of goal confirmation, after the assistant referee raised his flag announcing the infiltration of the South Korean player Kim Young-won, but the decision was cancelled by the assistant referee after referring to the mouse technique to confirm the validity of the goal. Especially in Group B matches. In the match between Spain and Portugal, the television replay made it clear that Diego Costa's goal was incorrect after he obstructed the Portuguese Pepe, but the referee did not resort to the mouse technique. In the Iran-Portugal match, the Paraguayan referee, Enrique Cáceres, refused to use the video technology in front of the Iranian players and coach, asking for a penalty kick that would have been calculated and scored a goal to eliminate Portugal, and Iran topped the group. In the other match, between Spain and Morocco, the objections were more explicit, after the Uzbek referee Ravshan Ermatov decided to use the mouse technique to verify the correctness of the equalizing goal for Spain, which was scored in the 91st minute of the match, after the assistant referee raised his flag announcing an infiltration, but the referee decided that the goal is correct. Many players and coaches attacked the technology, and Moroccan national team player Noureddin Amrabat said, while addressing the fans, that video technology is nonsense, while the coach of the Portuguese national team, Carlos Queiroz, considered the video technology does not have clear foundations for its use. As for everything related to the 2022 World Cup that will be held in Qatar and will start in a few days, it will be the focus of the next video. In the end, I thank Jason for your follow-up. We hope to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button, and do not forget to like. We also await your support through the Super Chat and the Thank You feature.